Well, welcome back to Big Boy. Let's try and do something a little bit different here. First of all, it's kind of a shrink wrap rip thingy, except I've already pulled all the crap out, and I wasn't going to do a shrink rip for this game. A, because I knew it was going to be massive, and B, because I don't know enough about it to really talk knowledgeably. So therefore, if you want to learn anything about this game right now that's meaningful, stop watching this and go watch the 40 videos that have been released by Mo, who's worked with Eves to build out a fantastic educational program for you. Go do that. But if you just want to sit here and shoot the shit with me for a few minutes, have a look at some of this stuff and just be kind of amazed at what the hell's going on, I want to highlight a few things here that I think are very cool and some things that are interesting and a little bit different, and really hopefully not take a whole lot of your time. So first of all, it's a massive box. That's well, I would tell my wife that was 6 inches, but it's a 3-inch box, deep, heavy. I gave the box to my wife to hold, and she said, "That's a game?" And I said, "Yes, honey, it is." So first up, here are the counters. And I really, when I first interviewed these guys and had a conversation with them about the title and how this was going to be a reboot, a reimagining of Gulf Strike and Aegean Strike and all that sort of fun stuff, I assumed we were talking a couple of maps and 3 or 4 counter sheets and, a big old honking rule book and some charts and tables. This is a stunning amount of content. I believe, if I read correctly on the back of the box, 11 counter sheets, am I right there? Well, 2,000 counters, 2006 counters, aircraft, naval units, brigades, regiments, divisions, some very pretty art on each individual counter representing the various types and capabilities. I'm not going to go through all. Look, a lot of this is information markers too, so let's not freak out too badly. I think there are 5 or 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, maybe 7, 8 counter sheets that are information markers. Talks about being battle hardened and various other aspects, standoff capabilities, and obviously strength markers as units are reduced in capacity perhaps, or capability. So lots of different stuff that we are not going to get into right now. I am going to read the rule book. I'm probably not going to watch many of the videos, probably watch some of the more detailed ones. I'm going to skip all the intro stuff that talk about the counters and all that. So look, heavy duty, big counters, beautifully cut. I've not seen any register issues at all. They are almost perfect, I would say. I did want to bring a couple of things to folks' attention, first of all, though. Some cards, don't know what the cards are for. We're going to get to that at some point. We've got an Air Defense Network hit register, so there'll be a little bit of paperwork going on here for folks. Maps, there's a number of maps, and these maps have a satin finish, but it appears to be somewhat of a lower gloss. I wouldn't call it matte finish, but lower gloss, rich palette, thankfully a lack of soft pastels. We've actually got terrain that looks like terrain, beautiful forest and hills and mountains and rivers and highways and what looks like possibly either highways or rail. I don't know, I'd have to once again check the map, but that's one of the main maps for the campaign. And then there's the Soviet entry point over here, obviously, I'm guessing, and down here in the south. The Czech, I'm trying to orient myself here. Salzburg, yeah, this is going to be like something, the Czech Republic perhaps, or Czechoslovakia. And these are mega, as you can see, we've got these megahex outlines. That's going to be useful for us when we look at the strategic map. Because, it does have its roots firmly in Gulf Strike, which had a tactical to strategic transition capability. And here's another map that would join up with this other one. This is all sort of naval area. I'm not going to open it out. I'm sitting at my desk, kind of jammed in the corner here. but just kind of blown away by the goodies in the box, and I wanted to share real quick. And then we have sort of a smaller map just for the fill the gap, where you can play a discrete scenario standalone. The Bavarian option, which I guess we'll either add that to the game or that's a standalone. And then we've got our, I believe this is going to be our megahex map here, strategic map. I'm trying to open this without tearing anything. This has a different sort of finish to it than the, well, they both have the same. It's got kind of a texture to it, which is really quite nice to touch. I quite like that. So anyway, our mega hexes here, you can see all of Europe there, and these larger hexes that translate onto the main tactical map. Now, dozens of setup and reinforcement charts, I imagine, and these are gameplay for learning scenarios probably, but here we go, operational map air bases. There's a swag of those. Strategic map air bases, a swag of those. So let's get those out of the way, but lots of setup charts for folks. There's a whole nother bunch of them here as well, by scenario. So each scenario's got each individual counter that is required for the scenarios, and then a reinforcements and replacements chart. What do we got here? Looks like a planning map that we could use with the megahexes, all in black and white. And this has a finish to it that I'm not going to say you could use a wet marker. What do you call it? Like a dry erase? But maybe you could, don't know. And then look at, there's just all of these different scenarios here, a whole swag of them. Going to put all that to one side for a second. A couple of other little bits and pieces here, turn track and enable combat resolution track and bits and pieces here. Put that all to one side. The charts and tables, extensive, quite a small font, dense information allocation, lots of data in here. Going to take some time to read and look through and assess what's going on here. This is the missile warheads and hit table. Okie dokie. We're going to get right after that action. We've got offensive mode air missions, which looks like some workflow going on there. Very nice. And then this is all just the different types of aircraft, their roles, features, armaments, capabilities. Same with Soviet stuff. A marker legend, so we can helps us understand what all the different markers are for, which is probably going to be needed. And then a bunch of other charts in here. Sequence of play. Now there's a sequence of play back here as well somewhere that I thought was very nicely done. I'll show you that. Yeah, this little guy. So you can sort of sit this on the side of the game somewhere with the game turns. Each game turns 48 hours, by the way. And then your strategic through first, second, and third action phases, which replicates the Gulf Strike modus operandi. So 2 sets of charts and tables for everybody. Rulebook, which clocks in at a, including index, 55 pages. If we remove the glossary, index, and all the rest of it, it sits at 48 with, well, might be a little bit less than 48, probably like 43 pages of rules, which is, you know, these days, that's not bad. And that includes lots of diagrams, lots of examples. There's a full page chart explaining sequence of play outline, lots of other diagrams in here to make life easy for us to learn this game, which will take some time, right? Unfortunately, I am not in the new house yet, and I am not able to set this bad boy up yet unless I play one of the smaller scenarios. And then, of course, this is the scenario booklet here. So we may very well, once we've watched a couple of videos and read the rule book, I've had I had a draft of the rule book and the final, I think, for quite a while, but life gets in the way, and I really didn't want to go trying to digest the rules before I actually physically had the game in hand. That's just kind of how I roll. It doesn't mean as much to me if I can't look at the components while I'm assessing and reading the rules and things like that. Anyway, look, so there it is. You know, Red Strike. Yves was on, I think, my channel. I think I did a designer deep dive, and then I think he was on Mo's channel as well, and that must have been 2 years ago, I think. We had other folks on with him as well. I can't remember names at the moment. No, my apologies for that. But I am pretty impressed with the overall art direction and quality of components so far. I've noted that I'll note that there've been a little bit of errata released already, so they've jumped on that straight away. All very minor, about 1.5 pages of comments and clarifications and notes. A few little corrections here and there. Half of that page is 1.5 pages is scenario edits. So I like to see consistent, immediate errata coming out to us. Let's not be babies about this. Let's just know that big complex games are going to have errata, and nothing is ever perfect. And there's no amount of looking over this sort of detail that you're going to catch every little thing. So I'm excited about this. Hope it works out well. Hope it plays well. And I'm excited to see where the series goes from here. That's what I'm going to be particularly excited about. All right, all the best. Go roll some dice. Talk soon.